Chain of kindness.
Once a man was driving down the road when he noticed an elderly lady stranded on one of the most deserted sections of the road. Even though the light was dim in the evening, the man saw that she needed some help. So, he parked his car in front of hers and approached her. The older woman became concerned because no one had stopped to help her in the past few hours, and now this guy was approaching her with a grin. She became worried that the man would hurt her because he appeared poor and hungry. The man could see she was scared and understood how she felt. "I'm here to help you, ma'am. My name is Brian Anderson," he continued, addressing her. Despite her fear, the older woman told him that her car's tire was flat. "Ma'am, it's cold outdoors, why don't you wait inside my warm car while I change the tires?" the man replied. Having said this, the man took his toolbox and began changing the flat tire of the lady's car. The man quickly replaced the tire. The older woman rolled down her car window and started talking to him as he finished. She introduced herself, said she was from a far distant place and was passing through, and expressed her gratitude to him for helping her. After setting aside tools and a flat tire for her automobile, the man simply grinned as he shut the trunk. "How much should I pay you?" asked the elderly lady. The man had no qualms about being paid because this was not his job. Instead, he was assisting her in her time of need. He told her that if she genuinely wanted to repay him, she should help someone in need the next time she saw one. "And at that time, think of it as payment for this deed of mine," the man added. On the way back to her destination, the old lady noticed a small cafe a few miles down the road. She pulled over and went in to relax and grab a bite before the final leg of her journey. After she was seated, a waitress approached her and brought a clean towel to wipe her wet hair. The lady noticed that the waitress was in the later stage of her pregnancy but still smiling and working hard. The elderly lady wondered how someone with so little could be so kind and generous to a stranger until she remembered how Brian, a stranger, had just helped her. After finishing her meal, the lady paid a $100 bill, much higher than her bill amount. The waitress went inside to get change, but when she returned, the old lady had left. While the waitress was wondering where the lady was, she noticed something on the napkin. Her eyes filled with tears when she read a note that was written by the old lady. "Thank you for your amazing services. You don't owe me anything. Someone once helped me without expecting anything in return. If you truly want to repay me, pass on your kindness, and do not let this chain of love end with you." There were $400 bills left under the napkin for the waitress. Later that evening, when the waitress returned to her house, she was pondering about the generosity and the note from the lady. She wondered how the woman knew that she and her husband was in desperate need of financial help. It would have been tough for them financially with the baby coming very soon had she not helped her. As she slept next to her husband, she could tell that her husband was concerned and worried about the future. So, she whispered into her husband's ears, "Everything will be fine. Today, we were blessed by kindness from a stranger. I love you. Brian Anderson."
The next story. Broken eggs.
A young boy was cycling with a basket full of eggs on it. Unfortunately, he came across an unseen bump on the road and lost his balance. He fell alongside the cycle while the eggs he was carrying fell and broke. A crowd gathered around the poor boy while he slowly tried to collect whatever remained from the savage. Free advice and taunts started flowing from the crowd of onlookers as usual. "You should have been more careful. What were you thinking while riding your cycle?" An older man emerged from the crowd, looked at what had happened, and with a concerned look on his face, he said, "Poor little fellow, what will he answer to the owner of the eggs? How will this ordinary boy pay for the cost of all these broken eggs? I will help him as much as I can." The man then handed over $10 to the boy and said, "The people in this part of the town are very good people. They will not only give you good advice, but they will also help you by giving money so that you can pay your master for the loss you may have caused due to the accident." Having heard what the older man said and observed his action, the crowd gave money to the boy. The young boy was delighted since the money collected from the group was over the worth of his broken eggs. The boy thanked the crowd for their help and generosity, and while he was preparing to leave, a man from the crowd came and patted the boy's shoulder and said, "Young man, you should be thankful to that older man if he wasn't around. I do not know what difficulties you would have faced with your owner." The boy looked at the man and said, "Sir, I will thank him when I reach the shop. He is the owner of the shop where I work." Moral of the story: clever minds will find ways in the hardship instead of getting frustrated when life throws obstacles.
The next story. Painting a boat.
Once a young man was asked to paint a boat of an affluent man. The young man got some red paint and brushes and began to paint the boat, as requested by the owner. While painting, he discovered a tiny hole in the ship's hull and quietly fixed it. After completion of the painting, the young man received the money for the paint job and left. The boat's owner showed up at the painter's house the next day with a substantial check, far greater than the painting payment. "You've already given me money for painting the boat, sir," said the surprised painter. "But this isn't for the paint job, it's for repairing the hull in the boat." "But it was such a little service. It's not worth paying me that much for something so insignificant," said the young man. "My dear boy, you do not understand the significance of your act. Let me tell you what happened. I forgot to mention the hole when I asked you to paint the boat. When you were done with the paint, my kids took the boat and went on a fishing trip once the paint had dried out. They were unaware of there being a hole. I was not there at that time. When I returned and discovered that my children had taken the boat, I was distressed because I remembered it had a hole. I tried to contact them several times but couldn't reach them. Imagine my delight when I saw them return from their fishing trip. After that, I carefully examined the boat and discovered that you had repaired the hole. You see, now, what you did. You protected my children's lives. I don't have enough money to repay for your thoughtful act. So, no matter what, who, when or how, keep your spirit up to help, sustain, wipe tears, listen and carefully repair any leaks you find. Because sometimes, the smallest act of kindness and thoughtfulness may be worth more to others. You may have repaired many boat holes on your way even without realizing how many lives you may have impacted. Similarly, many may have fixed holes in your boat without realizing it. So, be grateful and keep being kind and thoughtful.
Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video. Thank you very much.